Hello fellow Helldivers, Blagger here, and today we've got a great guide breaking down why you should use the recently added Commando and some tips and tricks on how to get the best out of it. And I'm also going to include an entire build built around the Commando that you can use against both the bugs and the bots on Helldive difficulty. And if there's a particular section of the guide you're interested in, I've added timestamps for your convenience, so sit back, relax, and let's get into it. So the MLS-4X Commando Launcher is an expendable laser guided missile launcher that will cost you 8,000 requisition slips. The Commando can fire all 4 launchers without having to reload, but just like the EAT-17 you can't refill its ammo, and once you've fired all 4 missiles the launcher is then dropped. You can also switch between laser guided and free fire by holding down your reload button. Calling in a new one isn't a problem as it only has a 120 second cooldown, which can be further reduced to 108 seconds by unlocking the ship upgrade Streamline Requests. So why should you use the Commando? Well, it can one-shot bot fabricators without having to aim for the vents, so you can take out 4 bot fabricators with 1 Commando by hitting them anywhere, which is crazy. As well as that, it doesn't require a backpack to run like the spear or the autocannon, freeing up that important backpack slot. It only takes 2 shots to take down bot dropships, meaning you can take down 2 dropships with a single Commando. And we'll find out more about the Commando further into this guide when showing you the best builds to pair with the Commando with. So speaking of builds, these builds I've tested and tweaked to what I consider to be some of the strongest when fighting both the bugs and the bots, so with that said we'll start with the Terminids. So starting off with our primary weapon against the bugs, we have the very popular Incendiary Breaker, which can be found in the Steeled Veterans War Bond. Its crowd clearing capabilities makes it a great weapon to use on the higher difficulties due to the increased enemy presence, and works very well at mopping up all the light enemies and can be used at great effect on choke points. It's also decent against most medium armoured enemies like the Hive Guards, which when shooting them head on will still set them alight, slowly chipping away at their health. And as for Brood Commanders, I find shooting them at a distance to start the fire damage and finishing them off with your secondary weapon to be a great combo. My secondary weapon depends on what primary weapon I'm using, so when using the Incendiary Breaker I find the Grenade Pistol to be a very versatile secondary and gives you so much more customization when tweaking your loadouts, as it covers situations where you would normally have to use a grenade or a stratagem. When using the Grenade Pistol you don't have to worry about having enough grenades when taking out bug holes, as the Grenade Pistol can take them out and is also great for taking out the tanky and medium enemies such as the Brood Commanders I mentioned earlier. And sometimes if there's a cluster of Hive Guards, I'll shoot the ground they're on, taking out multiple medium enemies with a single shot. For my grenade, I find you can't go wrong with either the G19 Impact Grenade or its premium currency equivalent, the Incendiary Impact Grenade. Both grenades can be used to close bug holes and take out large groups of approaching medium enemies. Personally, I prefer the regular impact for its higher damage rating. Moving on to our armour, when fighting the Terminids on Helldiver difficulty, I use the CW4 Arctic Ranger Light Armour, which is in the Polar Patriots War Bond, but you can just use the SC30 Trailblazer Scout Armour that is in the free Helldivers Mobilised War Bond. It has the same stats and armour, so no difference at all. You don't need the whole set, as helmets and capes currently have the same stats and currently have no passives of their own, so you should only buy helmets and capes you like the look of aesthetically. When fighting the bugs, I find using light armors to be more effective as you'll be constantly getting pressed, so having the extra mobility is a huge bonus. And the armor passive that comes with this armor set is called Scout, which gives you and your squad so much more vision on the map by generating more scans when placing markers, and also reduces the range that enemies can detect you by 30%. So moving on to our vital stratagems, I find on Helldive difficulty when facing the Terminids we have to prioritise taking out the heavy targets such as Chargers and Bile Titans. We've already established that our Incendiary Breaker can take out all of the light armoured bugs and most of the medium armoured bugs, and our Grenade Pistol can clear up the small groups of medium enemies, so that leaves us with our stratagems to clear out the heavies. So with that said, to no surprise, the 500 kg bomb is my first stratagem I use. Its quick calling time and being so easy to use makes it an easy choice for me when taking out Bile Titans. Sure, it could do with a larger damage radius, being the 500 kg bomb, but it's a relatively small learning curve makes it the obvious pick. You should only be using the 500 kgs on Bile Titans, as you'll see in a minute what we'll be using to take out the Chargers, and always having a 500 kg spare to use for your Bile Titans is what you want to aim for. The next stratagem is the Orbital 380mm Barrage. It isn't an absolute must, so if you have a favourite stratagem and would like to still take it along with you, consider replacing this slot. But with that said, I use the 380mm Barrage for clearing medium to large bug nests and for defending extracts by placing it in the distance of where the enemies are spawning. Using the 380mm on the largest bug nest I find is an absolute game changer, and although you should always approach these nests as a team, you'll often find yourself attacking them solo, and although you're not guaranteed to close the entire nest with a barrage, you can close over half a dozen holes with it whilst being nowhere near the nest, which is great for avoiding unnecessary conflicts, and then you can run back to close the few remaining holes with your impact grenades or your grenade pistol, making an otherwise difficult side quest a breeze. For our support weapon stratagem, you can probably guess that the Commando is our choice, given this is the Commando guide. The Commando can take out regular charges with 1 headshot or their armoured counterparts in 2, and although temperamental, it can take down Bile Titans in 2 to 3 shots. It can also be used to take out bug nests when low on grenades, and can easily take out broadcast towers and spore towers. Before moving on to our boosters, that last stratagem, and a very important one at that, is the Guard Dog Rover. This unlimited ammo army of 1 stratagem is the bread and butter to this build, clearing up the smaller enemies, saving your precious ammo and time dealing with them. It acts as your personal bodyguard, can take out a wide range of enemies, and once recharged you can call in another one for your fellow Helldivers. On Helldiver difficulty you run into so many hordes that having a stratagem that you can set and forget about is a big win and will make your missions a lot more straightforward. It does have a small learning curve, as it can kill you or your fellow Helldivers when positioning around it, so just keep a small distance when playing with your squad and learn how the rover positions itself around you, and you'll be fine and much better off for having it with you. Most Helldivers have their favourite boosters, and I find having at the very least the vitality and stamina enhancement boosters are great to have with you when deploying, so if you can communicate with your squad, be sure that they bring these 2 along, as the vitality keeps you alive longer and the stamina enhancement makes your time exploring the map more efficient. Any other boosters are more just personal preference. So before moving on to the bot build we built around the Commando, I would just like to say a huge thanks to you for watching and supporting the channel, and if you could please just give this guide a like, I would really appreciate it, as it helps the channel out, and if you'd like to see more content like this, please consider subscribing. So on to our bot build. We'll start with our primary weapon, which is the Punisher Plasma. The Punisher Plasma fires concentrated balls of plasma in a downward arc, causing explosive splash damage. It has a high stagger effect, and its explosive splash damage deals full damage to enemy weak spots, which is great against Devastators and Hulks. Its stun locking capabilities is where it really shines, taking out multiple Devastators whilst avoiding taking any incoming fire. It takes out Scout Striders with such ease that they are no longer an issue, and it's great for clearing groups of enemies very fast and efficiently. Some tips that I like to remember when using the Punisher Plasma is to always lead your shots. Try to use it like you would the grenade launcher, with your aim and distance, and try to prioritise crowds for maximum damage. So instead of targeting a single enemy, try and hit the ground between them when viable for maximum effect. So moving on to our secondary, when facing the bots you need something that can pack a bit more of a punch as opposed to thinning crowds, and the Senator is your one-stop shop for ripping through the multiple medium armoured enemies you come across, such as Devastators and the occasional chainsaw wielding Berserker. It has a high damage rating of 175 and a decent fire rate for a high damage medium armour penetrating revolver, and is the best secondary against the bots by a good distance in my opinion. For the bots, the stun grenade is a must for stopping those Hulks and Berserkers getting too close to you, and can be a great tool for locking your targets to hit their weak spots. This is especially true when stun locking the Hulks to kill them with 1 to 2 shots when hitting their red eye or rear heat sinks with the Commando. Its utility is so much higher than your damage output grenade equivalent, giving you a whole new way to defend yourself against the more deadly enemies. The Hulks, to be precise, as when they get close they can really mess you up quickly, so having a grenade catered just for these deadly interactions is a great tool to have in your bag. When fighting the automatons, it's always wise to have a minimum of a medium armor level protection, as you will take a lot more damage through long range fire compared to when fighting the Terminids. So having that protection that can take an extra shot or 2 goes a long way. So with that said, the DP40 Hero of the Federation or Champion of the People are solid armor sets to run against the bots, as mentioned, due to its medium armor protection and its very strong passive ability Democracy Protects, which gives you a 50% chance of not dying when taking lethal damage, which when I say how many times this has saved me, it's no joke. And there's a nice little bonus, this passive also prevents all bleeding when your chest hemorrhages. So our first stratagem is the ever reliable Eagle Airstrike. This will be used for taking out most objectives such as bot fabricators and mortar pits and the occasional horde. Everyone knows this is a staple in most of my build videos for its great damage output and the upkeep time, making it one of the most versatile stratagems in the game. As well as taking out objectives, it's great at contributing to taking out your heavy targets like the factory striders and your large enemy patrols. And when you're on those blitz missions taking out multiple fabricators, the Eagle Airstrike should be at the top of your list for a fast, clean mission clear. The next stratagem was close between the orbital 380mm barrage or the orbital laser, with the former just winning due to the orbital laser's 3 uses per mission disadvantage. I used the 380mm barrage for clearing medium to large automaton bases and for defending extracts. So our support weapon, the Commando, really shines against the bots. You can take out bot fabricators with just 1 missile, and even better, you don't have to aim for its heat vents, just take any direct hit does the job. You can also take down turret towers with 2 shots, as well as any automaton tanks. The final stratagem I use when facing the bots is my absolute must, the EMS mortar. When I say this mortar can really change the tide of battle, it's no joke. You place this mortar when attacking or defending objectives or extracting, you will always have a much easier time to slow all enemies inside its EMP radius, make it easy pickings for you and your fellow Helldivers. I know that whenever a fellow Helldiver is using the EMS mortar, I am so grateful, as I know this mission is going to be so much easier and more enjoyable. And that's it. I hope you all enjoyed this Helldivers 2 guide, and if you did, please hit that like button and subscribe for more. I've got more Helldivers 2 content coming soon, so be sure to have those notifications on. There's more build videos catered to all your needs on the channel, so consider checking them out, and I'll see you all on the battlefield. Blagger out.